All right. Well, there we go. Let's do this one. Hey, got a big ride. Greetings and salutations, everyone. You've tuned in once again to On Air with Walt. And today we have a very special guest who I've actually had the privilege of personally meeting. Is Baltazar. He's a great guy, very active politically in many areas, which we're going to chat about. So without further ado, welcome.
Hey, thank you very much for having me, Walt.
Well, it's always wonderful to be had.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I want to thank Chuck Weaver, for connecting us to get to be able to do this podcast.
Yeah, he's a mutual friend, and he's a great guy as well. I had the privilege of meeting him in a cigar networking event, about 18 months ago. So it's been fun.
Yes. Can't wait to do it again.
In Long Beach, by the way.
In Long Beach.
Yeah.
At the Jade Restaurant.
Well, it was a little hole in the wall bar. We were outside in the back. It was only about, 20, 30 minutes. Yeah. Good times.
Yes.
So your background is quite a plethora of different things. Native American, Filipino, you're running for Congress, we're going to talk about the fires that happened last year in the Palisades in Altadena with a very different twist. Yes. Than all the rest.
A different perspective from a guy who's on the ground.
Yes, sir.
From day one.
Definitely in the trenches and on the ground.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I'm sure your perspective is way different than anybody else has heard.
Anybody else's. Yes.
Yeah. So where do you want to start? Let's see. So give us about your background. I mean, I know you a Native American and Filipino, and you grew up. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in San Pedro.
Oh, okay.
Over here in the harbor.
Yeah. Great area. Town. And do you live in San Pedro now, or are you in Long Beach, actually, aren't you?
Well, I ping pong between San Pedro and a property over there in South Central, what they call now South LA.
Oh, okay. Yeah, South Central. Okay. Now, as your intro says there, you're a candidate for Congress. What are you running for?
Yes.
And have you ran more than once for Congress, or is this your first time?
No, this is my third time. I threw my hat in the ring in 2022 when Karen Bass stepped down to run for mayor. This is my third time out of 8 Democrats. I think I placed 6th or 4th or 6th in the first run in 2022. 2024, I didn't get my name on a ballot. I was a write-in for some reason. And in 2026, I'm on the ballot.
I wonder why.
Yeah, shocking. I didn't know what I was doing. I got on the ballot. I know what I'm doing. Suddenly, I don't get on the ballot. I become a write-in. So 2026, I went and I overdid it. So I got about maybe 300 signatures, and I got 300 out of 300 signatures. No less than 300. I received 66 votes that were eligible to put my name on the ballot. So thank God for that. Pretty labor intensive, but I like to thank all the volunteers that helped me get to where I needed to be in order to put my name in the ballot.
Well, from what I know, as far as candidates, you are well versed and totally able to handle the job with your hands tied behind your back and get some stuff done that we probably desperately need.
Oh yes. I'm also I own a lobbying from Golden State Consulting. And we were focused prior to the fires on Native American issues. So once the fires happened and 7 months in, I started to see telltale signs of things not being done, a lot of activity, little accomplishment, a lot of talk, a lot of overpromising and not delivering at all. A lot of people operating on best effort. We put a PSA together, and I sent it to you, and I sent it to Chuck and a few other people. But we had circulated that to everyone in Congress, all their staff, the Senate, and got as close to the Trump White House as we could. And on January 27th, he signed Executive Order 14308, stating it was the Rebuild California After the Wildfires Act. So we got that,
Wow,
that was constant bombardment. Yes, yes. I'll go ahead and send you the press articles.
Sure.
But we were able to do that, and just to highlight it, to say, hey, they took Fed dollars. It needs to be done the Fed way, because all we got was what? Overpromise and underdeliver. When Trump arrived in February, he said, waive all the permits. And Karen said, yes, we'll go ahead and waive it. Nothing's been waived. Nothing's been delayed. It was all talk, no action. A whole lot of people want to pop their head in front of the camera to show their concern, and nothing's being done. Yet I have to feed. I move over because I used to be a chef at Le Cordon Bleu. And what happened was my students reached out to me once they saw me, on that part of LA again, right? Because, they're by the mountain, I'm by the ocean. So now that Le Cordon Bleu has turned into International Culinary Education, ICE. So once my students found out that I was assisting in the wildfires, they said, hey, they reached out, hey, chef, we have this excess food. We're a food processing generator. And according to LA Sanitation, we need to do something with all this overflow. We want to give it to you. What they gave me was 7,000 pounds of food, of chef prepared meals. Now that we've been distributing food since February, every week, 7,000 pounds up till today.
Oh, every week.
And I own a food bank every week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I own a food bank in South Central called Nature's Hotline. And they've been open. They've had their doors open for 52 years. And the reason why I bought into it, because their claim to fame is after 2 riots and Corona, we never closed our doors. So we have the subject matter expertise to actually help people personally.
Yeah, one-on-one.
So so Walt's house burned down. Where's how Walt living? Well, Walt needs food because probably the Airbnb and or / motel that they put him in doesn't have a refrigerator, right? And he can't cook. He can't, he's very limited on his culinary choices. So we give him chef prepared meals, right? He can go walk down to 7-Eleven, heat it up, walk back, go about his day, take it to work, throw it in the work microwave, heat it up. He's good to go. But having, seen these people 1 year living in Winnipeg, we've got a few people they have 3-acre properties, and they put up tarps on their own property. Now think of the rains that happened in February, March of last year. Think of the rains that happened. Yeah. Think of the rains that just happened last week.
Right. We had
last night.
Yeah, last night.
Yeah, last night, right? This guy's sitting in a tarp, not even a tent. So, when you look at them and you say, Baltazar, where do we go from here? I have no answers for him. All I can say is, like I told him at the Eat and Fire Collaborative, when Colonel Swenson from the Army Corps of Engineers, I said, when I took him to the side, and I said, sir, with all due respect, we should have bagged and tagged everybody in this place within a 72-hour period. We did it in Kuwait. We did it in Panama. We did it back when we went back to Iraq. And I said, this should have been done. I said, if this was Corona, we would have had Walt a house, a tent with air conditioning and heating, with a refrigerator set up within 20 hours.
Easily.
But provided that Walt take the shot. You take the shot, this is free. You can have it. You can live in here as long as you want. Right? You know, free electricity, free water and power, free gas, not a problem. But you just got to take the shot. And what the colonel said to me was, we're dealing with politicians on this side of the world. This is not a war zone. We didn't take this place over. There's a lot of red tape. I said, okay, I understand. But, to speak to that, now I want to bring you back to January 7th. After the fires, once the National Guard arrived, which was about the 11th, they quarantined the area. So that was 1 month, no gas, no propane, no electricity and no water.
No electricity, no nothing.
And if Walt left his house, you couldn't return to your house. So you had to make choices. And the powwow and parade was the only one allowed to go past the National Guard because of my military experience, having been a supply corps officer, having been an Army infantry officer, and there are tribal lands behind the perimeter. We were allowed to go through, right? So we were just dropping off food at your house to say, hey, you're in charge of this block now, Walt. You know your neighbors better than we have. And we go to the next block. There's Chuck. Chuck, here's a pallet of food for you. So we did that for the whole month because they were stuck. They couldn't have anything. And what I tell a lot of people when I hear their stories of the funds they received, et cetera, et cetera, I say, well, can you point to me one person that you helped? Not best effort, not tried, not attempted, that someone will vouch for what you did.
Real hands-on.
Yes. Like Walt was the one who fed me. Walt was here when no one else. Walt gave when it counted, not when it was convenient. There was a perimeter out there. They didn't do their best. They did what was necessary to get past that line to ensure that I'm covered. And they did a follow-up, right? No one can say that I've met, and I know every person there. We were so significant, my partner and I, Peter Roybal, that they made a mural of us on Calaveras and Fair Oaks. So, we're very impactful. We were the Grand Marshal at the Sierra Madre Parade, the Native American Parade in Sacramento. We received a float for the Rose Parade. We were in the MLK Parade in South Central as an Eat and Fire hero. We won the Red Cross, we won the Kiwanis, and we're Carnegie Lifesaver Foundation nominees because their process is up to 2 years. And the funny thing about their process is that we need witnesses. I said, okay, well, everybody's gone now, right? Once I found out that I was nominated, we're already 6 months in. Walt's left. Well, why is Walt staying in the dirt lot? I can't get a hold of Walt. No, I mean, even if I were to hunt you down on a skip trace methodology, well, I still can't find Walt because Walt is only the person that can find Walt is your disaster case manager, and I don't know who they are, and they wouldn't give up your location anyway because of HIPAA.
Right.
So that just only prolonged the funnel for the Carnegie Foundation Award. But it's not about awards. It's about saying, hey, I'm making a difference, right? These people, these hundreds, thousands of people can say, Baltazar, Peter Roybal, they're the reason why I'm here today. They're the ones that put a blanket on my back that night. They're the ones that put food in my stomach and kept me warm. It was our staff that moved people from Lake in Woodbury to Lake in Washington because we had to retreat because of the fires and the winds. And one of my friends, who was a CB, he climbed up to the telephone pole, took electricity from the telephone pole, wired it to the generator as we made a tent to keep everybody warm. Because we couldn't hold our position that night because the winds were so strong. And
what people a lot of people understand is Altadena is in the hills.
And it's on the base of the mountain.
Yeah, right there at the base of the
mountain. It's at the base of the mountain. It's like Rancho Cucamonga to Hesperia.
Right.
It's like Baldwin Hills to Baldwin Mall, called Crenshaw Mall. It's right there. And we were able to do that. But, again, it's frustrating to see that, by my estimation, they're operating on best effort. We're trying, Baltazar. We're having a meeting to discuss a meeting to try and by the third meeting, we come to a decision. But what's Walt doing in the interim? He lost 15 pounds. We don't need any diet pills. We just have to be a resident of Altadena, because at that point, you have to make choices: food or fuel, rent or car payment, or cash in and leave. Right? Cash in and leave and call it a day. Now I'm a new Inland Empire resident, right? Or under SB 549, I sent you that article. I think it was SB 549. They're going to make that all public housing.
Well, that's what I understand they want to do with Palisades as well.
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, Palisades is even worse. If Walt's house didn't burn down, because there's only 8 houses being built in Palisades, if Walt's house was still standing after the fires and everything around him burned down, your only neighbor is the coyote that came off the mountain to look for something to eat. That and whatever businesses are left, because they're going through a lot of litigation over there. They don't have the infrastructure. They have narrow pathways. There's only 2 ways in, right? You're coming from the 101 or you're coming from the 10 West until it turns into something. But what about the existing residents? What about Pepperdine that didn't burn down? It's business as usual for them. So it's traffic on traffic on traffic. And even if you run that 24/7, you're going to get a lot of complaints, right? So this is just a piecemeal process, but it's very labor intensive and it's very litigious. Now I'll tell you, in Altadena, the best thing they have going for them are the religious services, because everybody, once the dust settled, they all ran to the churches, and they were able to muster up enough uh, uh, cooperation amongst themselves to get something started. But whatever they start is not enough because they're not back in their homes, right? They're still in a disaster case management.
Well, it's going to be quite a while. And to digress really quick, I wanted to comment. I watched the press conference that Karen Bass, mayor of LA, and Trump had at that fire station, and she was fighting him the first part of the press conference, and I'm going, oh man, this is not going well. And then she decided and realized that wasn't going to look good for optics, and so she decided to kiss his ass and agree to everything, knowing full well from my little I know she wasn't going to follow through with anything.
No, well, look, the proof's in the pudding. How many houses have been built? What has gone on? Why are we still doing
it? They made a big deal about one house that was finished, but the permit was approved about 12 hours before the fire.
Yeah. See, so a day before. So it was January. They put them at January 6th, January 5th.
Yeah.
Right. So that puts them on the 2nd, because that's the Friday. January 2nd, because the fire was on the 7th on a Tuesday. So it puts them on the 6th on Monday. Then you got those other 4 days. So that puts them at the 4th on Friday. Then when it got, but I mean, we're wrestling with image as opposed to the progress. Right. Because Walt still doesn't have a house. Walt's still living in an Airbnb. Walt's still running out of money. He's got to make choices because that pile of cash he does have is dwindling. I'll give you, for instance, we have a person that we feed. She had a fourplex. Okay. And that was her revenue stream. Well, it burned down. Okay. She got she was offered 1.5 million to rebuild. Okay. Contractor comes in and says, we have enough to make you a house, no driveway. And the fourplex, that's gone. Because you don't have enough money.
Streams disappeared.
Yeah. You don't have enough money to rebuild based on what the insurance company gave you. Well, now what do we have? Her whole fiscal portfolio was based on housing these seniors, right?
Literally destroyed.
Yeah, totally destroyed. Now she's going to have one house, right? Live in her car, and then throw a bunch of bodies in there so she can cash flow, right? That's one scenario. The other scenario is, hey, because what I told them, and I can send you pictures of this, I told the guys that were over 65, I said, look, man, if I were you or you were my dad, I would tell you this. If you don't want to move, just tap into the water, the telephone pole for free electricity. Make sure you have 2 pipes, clean water and wastewater going into your Winnebago, call it a day. And enjoy what money they give you, because you can enjoy that money, right? You can enjoy it until you do whatever, you pass away, pass it over to your kids. At least you have shelter in a familiar area, right? Dirt lot to dirt lot to dirt lot to, there's Walt 5 dirt lots down until they build something there.
But you're implying that is a long-term situation.
Yes. Well, it's been 14 months. What are we defining as long term now? No less than 6, no more than 3, 36. Right? Look at Paradise. Right? And prior to Altadena and Palisades, Paradise was the worst fire ever.
Yes, it was. Up
okay. And what are they doing?
I'm afraid I haven't followed Paradise. All I know is those houses burned, but the trees didn't. The grass in the front yard didn't. The driveways didn't. It's just the houses, structures themselves got toasted. And I mean, just house after house after house. It was really strange.
Well, it's just like the video I sent you earlier about how they built Palm Beach. The people who built the Palm Beach, their houses burned while they were partying, and now it's time to go back to wherever you came from.
Palm Beach, Florida?
Yes, Palm Beach, Florida.
Okay. Yep.
So, I'll tell you, being here in San Pedro, having grown up here, we have a street called Paseo del Mar. Paseo del Mar runs along the coast, right? It's Paseo to the west, to the south of that is a cliff. Next state over, next piece of land over is Catalina Island. After that's Hawaii. If you go to the other end of the 110 freeway, the last street in uh, Altadena, I think it's Sierra Madre Boulevard or New York Drive.
Yes.
I think Sierra Madre wraps around the mountain, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have Sierra Madre to the north of that is the mountain, right? So I said to myself, having been there, I'm going around the mountain. I'm thinking to myself, wow, all these houses burned in a straight line, but it stops at JPL. Oh, that's
So
strange.
obviously, Jet Propulsion Laboratory was obviously saved.
Yes, it was saved, and they said that they sucked up all the water because they had to protect it. Well, I think your house is just as good as JPL's. Matter of fact, and more because you pay taxes for that, right? So it's just when push comes to shove, what I like to say is when values are clear, decisions are easy, and vault is not valuable, right? Because I tell many of the people in Palisades, they ask, well, why isn't things being done? Blah blah blah. I said because you're on the menu, not at the table.
So
That's
what
why.
you're saying is no value implying disposable.
That's correct. I mean, look, they just say via attrition. You can't tell me the actuaries in the back room aren't saying at month 16, these guys have to make choices. They're going to run out of money because the majority of people there are over 60, retirees.
Right.
You have multi-generational housing.
Yes.
That means your dad's there, your mom and dads are there, you're there, your wife's wife or girlfriend are there, your son's families are there. Maybe 2 sons, 3 sons, right? Daughter, their families are there because they have big lots there. They have 3 acres by 1 acre. That's a big lot. That's like old Bakersfield if you've ever been up there. Oildale.
Yep.
They got big lots up there, and most of the houses are 2-story high. So
in
Altadena, yeah. So what are you going to do? You've got 9 people in that house paying 1970 tax property.
Yep.
Oh, which, by the way,
mommy and daddy's here in California, it's under Prop 13, and so their property taxes haven't escalated at all to speak of, and here we are.
Mm-hmm. And here we are, right? And well, think of their discounted cash flow. The house is paid for.
Yep.
The rent, the property tax is like $70.
Right.
The utility bill is probably the biggest one they have, which is water and electricity, right? And they have an opportunity to get off the grid because they're way out in the back, right? They can throw a fan or solar power, whatever, right? So they really don't have any expenses. They net every month, every 2 weeks. If they're a wage employee, they net every 2 weeks every time they get paid.
Right.
They may pay for it on the front end on their tax profile, but on the other end, hey, you know what? We're still pocketing cash, right? Because we got a place to stay. It's familiar. You have all the amenities that go with. There's dad, there's uncle, there are the kids, there's the backyard, front and back, right? There's the school system. We have equity in this community.
Big time.
So with all that burned down, well, Walt's in Pasadena, the other one's in Monrovia, the other one's in Ontario, the one moved to Huntington Park. And guess what? That pile of money you had is slowly dwindling every 2 weeks, every month. Right. And we're going to have a family meeting and say, hey, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? Because we only got one pot of gold and we got to divvy it up now. Right. And God forbid any of them lose their job because now there's no fallback. Right. We can't go to Walt's house anymore.
So what you're saying is it's basically a war of attrition.
Yes. Yeah. And like I said earlier, the actuary had already figured this out.
Yeah.
I would think so.
Yep.
The actuary is sitting in the back. He's penciled it out. He says, yeah, boss, I'll tell you, month 16, they're got to make choices, right? Because we're bouncing checks. right? We don't have enough money for it. The fair plan doesn't have enough to cover it. Price of the cola goes up. Price of equipment, labor go up. Well, they've it's better to get a condo in Long Beach, right? Get a
Did I hear that in Pacific Palisades specifically, that I think it was State Farm realized the water situation from a potential fire was kind of really not a kosher thing, and they canceled a lot of and weren't going to renew a lot of the homeowners insurance.
I'm not sure about that, but I know they haven't refilled the aqueduct up there.
Well,
That I know.
it was intentionally not filled because they were doing
Oh,
repairs. The
again.
fire hydrants didn't spit out any water. The reservoir specifically for this was empty.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
So
The
I guess we could expect
because
another fire pretty soon.
It was under repair for over 2 years.
Wow. Well, I mean, again, let's just say that was Corona. How long do you think it would take to fix? Week, 2 weeks?
Yeah, not long.
Yeah.
I mean, LA County,
All hands on deck.
a lot of fire trucks that LA County has, I understand, were in repair. They're not fixing the fire trucks either.
Oh, so we're primed for another fire.
Oh yeah, they were primed for that initially, and I don't think it's changed at all.
Yeah, because there's no accountability. I mean, the only guy that's really that is an actual stakeholder, I think his name is Spencer Pratt.
Okay, not familiar.
Right, because his house burned down, and he's sitting on he tended up over at his property in Palisades.
Okay,
and he's always making videos and whatnot, and it's justifiable because this is where I live. I don't want to go out into the world. I like Palisades.
My home, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, I didn't do this. This is not mismanagement on my part. This is mismanagement on the city, the people I pay taxes to do the right thing at the right time, and maintain and scale up for any force majeure. Right. So I just think that we could do a lot better. And with me running for Congress, my thing is to the voter, not the donor. Right. Because at the end of the day, what's stopping them? Let's just say hypothetically, between you and I, shits and giggles, let's say they say, well, you know what? We need a line going straight from Hollywood Live to LA Live.
Okay.
And we got all these people in the way.
Okay, but did they have?
We don't have enough firemen. We don't have enough fire infrastructure. We don't have enough fire trucks.
Did they have to burn 2 communities to get that done?
I mean, look at what they did already. I mean, look, imagine if we're there at sitting at the table somewhere, you and I smoking cigars, and say, you know what, Walt, I need to get the money going from SC to Loyola Marymount to LA Live to Hollywood Live. We want that chop. Right? Because I remember my father was head of security at the Olympic Village in 1984.
84 was our last Olympics.
In 84. And I remember
we have another one in 28.
Yes. Now I remember Long Beach was like the red light district because we had Terminal Island, right? We had all the Navy bases. Todd was still in play, right? I mean, it was just XXX going down Long Beach Boulevard. Once you went over the Vincent Thomas to the Long Beach Bridge.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But when the Olympics came, guess what? They rolled out Blue Thunder. Remember, Blue Thunder was like the Airwolf. Okay. It was the silent helicopter.
Yeah, military.
Right. That's right. And what that over to South Central. Zero crime. Remember Daryl Gates and Sherman Block?
Gates was
you mess around. Yep. You mess around, you will be thrown in jail. Period.
You're going to find out.
Now, you're going to find out what's it like to be in county jail, because the fun starts once I hand you over to the sheriffs. Now, the arrest isn't the fun part. The fun part begins when I hand you over to the sheriffs and I say, this guy's a knucklehead. I think he needs some flashlight therapy, which is what, of course, that's what happened. And during that time. So, maybe they got a little smarter. Maybe the developers got a little smarter and say, you know what, we just get rid of this and rebuild, because what's the alternative? right? How else are we going to make this a fun? I mean, because we have FIFA this year. FIFA starts at Cal State Dominguez in LA Football Club. That's where it starts, and Pasadena is where it starts to kick off, the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
So, then we have SoFi. We have the Super Bowl next year that's going to be here in Inglewood, SoFi.
Right. It's SoFi Stadium.
And then 28.
It's really
we're
funny
here at
that
the Olympics.
all the guys that they played the Super Bowl this year are realizing since it was played in California, their taxes for winning got practically wiped out by the California state taxes since they earned the money here in California, but yet there's going to be another game here. And they go, we're not coming back to California. And here we are, SoFi Stadium.
Yeah. Here we go again, right? They're going to have to say, you're going to have to gross up for what we're going to get paid over there. If we got to put that in the contract, right? So we know exactly what we're netting at the end of the game.
Gonna net, yep.
Right. So I mean, with all this money, I mean, the good thing about all this fraud, just to talk about fraud, Minnesota in particular, that means that we have the bandwidth to give every American $5 million and not even feel it. Not even feel it. Look, I mean, we haven't talked about what's the $24 billion that Newsom gave that 3-minute press conference, saying that, hey, just want to let everybody know we lost $24 billion. Can't take questions right now, but now you know.
Well,
I mean, it was amazing.
With the train to nowhere, the homeless, Medicare, that's at least two or three times that.
That's the gross domestic product of countries, probably all of Europe. Yeah. Probably all of Europe.
Nuts.
And half of China. And we don't even bat an eye.
No, it's
don't bat. Oh, well, I just wanted to let you know. And I thought to myself, did they take that all at once? Incrementally? There has to be a paper trail. Well, there has to be a paper trail.
I mean, as President Trump said, to go down that, all the shenanigans going on in Minnesota and the fraud there with the child care and all that jazz, California, that's child's play compared to what's
nothing. That's nothing to happen in California.
Yeah, it's child's
what's
play.
The fourth largest economy, the third or fourth largest economy in the world?
Well, it used to be fifth. I think it used to be fifth of the top 10. I think it's now 7th or 8th, but yeah, it's in the top 10.
We're still top 10, and we don't bat it. We don't bat an eyelash to any of that. No one says, "Oh, no one's clutching their pearls. No one's having a heart attack. No one's getting fired." I mean, if you do that worse of a job, I might as well apply and do the math blindfolded.
And then along those lines, if we can dive in there, you were dealing with, the donations of the fires, and my understanding they generated in donations
$800 million.
And you were in a warehouse and hanging out with all these guys, and you can't see or find any proof that there's any $800 million at all.
Nothing. I asked a lot of the nonprofits, and a few of them received money, but I mean, according to the workflow, and I'm getting this from Spencer Pratt, according to his workflow, or an article, I think it was, I'm not quite sure. I don't have the lady's name right now, but she did the workflow, and she said the workflow went from Fire Aid Concert,
yes,
to Annenberg. Annenberg
was managing it, wasn't he?
Yes, they were the ones managing it.
Okay.
And then they went to their nonprofits, and their nonprofits gave to other nonprofits, such as Pasadena Community Foundation, Long Beach, whatever these foundations were. But I was always, knocking the door at Pasadena Community Foundation. Hey, I'm Baltazar. Hey, I'm the one with the mural. Hey, I'm the one with the grand marshal. Hey, I'm the one that's the lobbyist. Hey, I'm the one that's doing this. Hey, I'm the one doing that. Here's what do you need from me? And, okay, you're in the queue. Well, it's 13 months now. How long is this queue? Right? So, it just, to me, again, my reference is Corona. Look how fast people moved. I mean, it was hot, right? There was a sense of urgency. We got to make this happen today. There's no tomorrow. And now with Corona, okay, we're going to get to a wall. We're trying. Well, the house burned out. Can I live with you? No, but we're trying. Enjoy Motel 8 with the rest of the shenanigans that go out with people who've never worked. that don't understand curfew, screaming at all hours of the night, you know, trying to take off the door to their hotel room. I'm next. I got to go to work the next day. So it's just amazing to see. And I understand that they do the best they can with what they have at the time they have it. But we've had it for 13, 14 months now.
Yeah,
And at what point in time?
well over a year, and we're nowhere closer to anything.
Nothing. I mean, I'll just go back to Paradise. Go back to, and I only use that because they're on mainland U.S. But what was going on with Lahaina? Right?
Right. In Hawaii, that happened. The same situation was there. The mayor of Lahaina was not even on the island. They were in on the Big Island, I believe, just like Karen Bass, who claimed in her campaign that she wasn't going to leave the state or the city, and she was in Africa when the fire started.
Yeah, I mean, number one, why are you in another? I mean, you're the mayor of Los Angeles. You're not, is this some kind of travel stipend that you? I mean, Villaraigosa went to Saudi Arabia. Tony, the mayor, Anthony Villaraigosa, the old mayor of L.A.
Yes,
he used to take trips to Saudi. Why? I thought there was a limit of Christians going into Saudi. And what is your business in Saudi? They don't just let anybody in Saudi. They don't just like in Japan. They don't just let anybody in Japan. Right? My second wife was Japanese. Hey, what is the nature of your business here? We got enough Americans spreading their nonsense. We don't need more. So, is travel part of it? I don't know. I'm not at that level, but I can tell you, and yourself as an entrepreneur, my business is here at this podcast. My business is here at this office building. My business is here in my virtual office. And that may be anywhere, but it's not far away from the corporate office where in case I need to be pulled in. Right? So what is the nature of business over there? Okay, let's just say I've given the benefit of the doubt, but still, if you know that there's a certain time of year that bad things have a high potential of happening, why not stay here and postpone that? I mean, why not zoom in? Right? You just watch it on Zoom, can't you? You can FaceTime, can't you? You can do, what was that? What do they do in corporate when they do the video conferencing? Video conferencing, right? Video conference yourself in. I mean, do you really need to be there? Or you just like wasting the taxpayers' money to go goof off? Because
everybody perfected that over COVID.
Yeah, you sure the hell wouldn't do it if you had to spend your money to go to Ghana. Right? You started. There'd be second thoughts. Like, wait a minute, hold on. Let's zoom in. Let's video conference in. Come on, I don't have money like that to be wasting and going to see them. Right? I'm the attraction. I'm the mayor of LA. This is Ghana. And they ought to be glad I'm even coming here to spend some money. Right? So I just, I think these guys have gone away with so much for so long that's so wrong that they don't know the difference anymore.
It's business as usual.
Yes. Newsom, 24 billion. I mean, I would be ashamed. I lost 24 billion. How do you define loss for me? What do you mean by lost? All at once, incremental, someone stole it, and anybody being indicted? What's Bonta doing? Is there anybody doing an investigation? I mean, do you just wipe away 24 billion? And then there's that other guy, Abundance Prayer for Life down here in LA, right? He took 24 million. Right? And even if he does the time.
Is that all?
But even if he does the time, he does 6 years. Whatever money he didn't spend, he keeps. Right? Statute of limitations. If the IRS don't go after it. So, I just sometimes I think these guys plan in reverse to say, I'm going to get caught. I stole 24 million. I'm going to hide 8 of it. And then when I get busted, come back out, I'll have something.
Well, they're probably counting on the fact their hand's just going to get slapped and then the business as usual.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, Mark Ridley Thomas, Kern Price, Jose Huizar, Joe Chan, right? They're all on bail, on appeal. I think most of them, yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
Wow, I'm sure.
Yeah, but so, I don't know. I just think there needs to be accountability.
No,
God forbid.
from the top down and from the bottom up. I totally agree. It isn't yet. And do you think if you won your congressional seat, and we're going to talk about in a second, you were able to make any inroads or impact on that?
Oh, yes, I think so because, I've been in the district for going on 6 years now. And I've met all the neighborhood councils. They know what I'm about. They know that since they've known me, I went from guy who owned a food bank to a lobbyist to an eat and fire hero to someone who helped get an executive order passed, who's someone who's been part of the big Martin Luther King parade as a community activist, somebody who is a stakeholder in seeing them do better. Right? I'm the one that's has the gravitas to lead, to actually lead, because I have led in the military, in the army, in the Navy, as an entrepreneur, as an educator.
And you also have an MBA as well.
Yeah, and I have an MBA also. So, I mean, if you look at the incumbent, yeah, okay, acta non verba is what they say at the Merchant Marine Academy. Action, not words. Because actions would save lives that night, not your words, not SB 549, 489. None of that mattered that night. And none of what you said mattered since then. Because I'm still in the same position. I still don't have a home.
And still doing it. And my father was in the Navy back in the 50s, the Korean War. And, not that he got it from there, but actions speak louder than words for sure.
Yeah. And that night we found out who had the medal. That one night. All you had to do was stand. Everyone ran. You figure there's over 500,000 people there. And a lot of people say, well, oh, you were brave, Baltazar. You and Peter were brave. No, I think we were stupid because we didn't think about what we were doing. We just acted on what we knew had to be done.
Did what you normally do. And then what Dale Carnegie said, the tongue in your shoe is speaking louder than the tongue in your mouth.
Wow, that's a good one.
That's Dale Carnegie.
Yeah. So I mean, I just want to show the people my body of work.
Sure. Well,
from 2022 to now,
it's ongoing and proven, obviously.
Yes, and I said, what has anybody else done? We're not here for best effort, because at the end of the day, what we're here to do is vote yes or no on how this is going to help Walt. I don't care about anybody else because, it's the pebble in the shoe, right? It's what affects you. That's what I want to, if someone comes to me as a lobbyist or fellow legislator, I'll say, I understand that. I'm all with you, Walt, but this is what I need to know. What's going to be in my district? Do I want to be the AOC who chased off Amazon from her district? No, I want everybody fully employed in my district. I want everybody, if you're 18, you have a choice. You go to the trades, you work, or you go to college. And there's no judgment in whatever path you take. I want to make sure there's money being put in your pocket, your cash flowing.
Well, so it's win-win for everybody.
A win-win for everybody. Why? Because that's the way, as I see the congressional office, I'm the big answer desk. Walt comes to me and says, I have a nonprofit, I need funding, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what, Walt? Let me go ahead and have you talk to my friend Chuck. Chuck, can you facilitate what he needs done? And by the way, here's your work order number. God forbid. Today, February 11, 2026, at 1751 hours. This is your work order. We'll check back in a week and see how it goes. I'll have my chief of staff say, look at these work orders and see what the status is.
Is that accountability?
Oh, shocking, right? It's the sunset rule, right? I reply to, I always tell people, and they're amazed at this. I wake up at 2 a.m., I go to sleep at 9 p.m., right? I said, feel free to call me at 2 a.m. because I'm, in my business, I have to be in all time zones, right? So, Walt, you try to come at me and say, well, I'm on the East Coast. Can you get a call at 4:30, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock my time? Sure. Because I'm already up, ready to go. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, let's go make it happen. What do you need done? I don't, and some of them like to hide behind, well, my Zoom didn't work. Well, get up and call me. I don't need to see you. I don't need this. I need to hear your voice. We can take notes. If you're, because, a lot of people, when they find out that you keep 19-hour days, They're the balloon looking for a needle,
Interesting.
right?
I mean, I
They're
can
looking for an
validate that
excuse.
your email even stated the hours that you're awake and answer your phone.
That's
So
correct. I
I let
take
you
all
down
calls.
till 2 a.m. Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
2
Hey,
a.m.
call, please. Please test that. Right? Please test that.
I'm a night
Right?
person. I just may.
Yeah, I'm going to bed right now. You're waking up, Baltazar.
Good
Yes,
morning.
I am.
Good night.
Just want to say good night. But I mean, but it's that type of work ethic, and I think President Trump has. I think a few
I'm gonna
Tom
say,
Massey. I think,
Trump does Trump sleep, as some people have debated. So,
yeah.
and I
Well,
just
I mean,
heard, he does not sleep on Air Force One.
oh well, I don't know, but I mean that's a lot of thinking or a lot of.
Well, he's dealing with press and everything else is on the plane, but nonetheless, yeah, he doesn't, go into the back room and crash for whatever. I mean, I went, whoa, he doesn't even take a nap on the Air Force One. Wow, okay,
Well, I mean, I think he power naps throughout the day.
could be.
Right, just give me 15 minutes of silence. Let me get my REM sleep in. Let me wake up, get a cup of coffee. Okay, let's go. Right, and I
Yeah,
think that's refreshing from what we have seen out of any of these politicians.
the previous
Right.
president for sure.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, yeah. I wasn't even thinking him, but I mean, just to say, hey, you go to DC and you go to SAC, and if you want to get hit by a car, you stand anywhere near there at 5 o'clock. Those people bum rush out of there.
Yeah, they're done.
I was shocked.
Yeah,
I
they've done.
was shocked. That city is empty at 5:30.
The bars
That's
are
it.
open.
Sacramento or DC. I say, boy, you better watch out because this is like the Spanish bull run. These people are gone.
Yeah, but
These people-
you can probably find them all the bars.
oh yeah, I guess that's where the real work gets done.
Probably.
I'll give you, for instance, we were there in Sacramento and we were talking to a lot of legislators. And one of the chief of staff said, Baltazar, we'll meet you tomorrow at 10 a.m. I said, okay. She shows up and she's all disheveled. Didn't have her purse, didn't even have her cell phone. And I'm looking at her, I'm thinking, this is, huh. She goes, well, you know what? Let's reconvene at 2. And I said, okay. So 2 o'clock, and she's still kind of groggy. She's still trying to figure things out. We, make our rounds in the building.
Man.
And then, but at 5 o'clock at the Capitol Cafe, she was up. I mean, I said, oh, she's a night owl. And by the way, this is where the work really gets done. Because if you walk into any of those buildings at 8 a.m., you're going to see the workhorses working. Everyone else is just straggling in. I remember there was a time we went there at 1 to try to get into the building. At 8 o'clock, it was just walk on in, while 3-4 people in front of you, if that. You go in there after lunch, that line goes around the building. I'm not kidding. It goes around the building. I dare anybody to go up to Sacramento when they go up there and go try to enter one of those buildings after lunch and tell me how far away from the front door you are.
Wow.
And I told my buddy, I said, where did all these people come from? These people weren't here at 8.
9, 10.
They weren't here at 8. Where did they all come from? Right? So it depends on what their workflow is, and I understand that. Whatever your workflow may be, but I'd like to see a tangible deliverable at the end of all this. Right? I understand that we were haggling and doing a lot of horse trading on the back end. But at the end of the day, Walt's going to come to me, Baltazar, his congressional representative, to say, well, how's this affecting me? Well, this is how it's affecting you. Now, is it labor intensive? Yes. Is it help desk centric? Yes. But hey, that's why you signed up for the job, right?
Hopefully.
That's why you will. Hopefully, but at some point in time, you got to say, hey, you're not above not being accountable to me because I voted for you. You weren't like this when you asked for my vote. Now that you're in, you're a different person, right? So I think that that's what we need because it's just getting worse. It's just getting worse. There's no accountability. Money's going everywhere but to us, and it's our money.
That's the scary part is they don't think it is. They think it's theirs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because there's no accountability. I mean, if they've been conducting business this long, as often as they do, well, why not? What's Walt going to say? He'll forget. Walt's going to get caught up in his day to day. You know, let him make choices between spending gas to come see me and wait in a line to come see me. And maybe or maybe not, I'm not in the office. I have him go talk to one of my youngster aides and they'll mess it up as they're taking his intake in. Or he could have gone on and done his own thing and just bit the bullet and said, well, I guess this is the way it is. Right? Now you have to make choices. The same thing they're doing in Altadena and Palisades. I got to make choices. Am I going to litigate this? Because the only one screaming, go do it, is the lawyer. Right? That's the only one saying, go do it, Walt. We can do this. I need a retainer of $15K. But I'm going to fight for you.
Yeah,
or we lost. But we lost. Well, what happened to $15K? I spent it in Hawaii. But let me tell you, I feel a lot better about it. And the next time I run across a situation like this, I'll know what to do. So I was your learning curve. I paid you to learn on my dime, because that's what I'm hearing. That's all I'm hearing here, right? And I've always said, since I've ran for Congress and seen what I've seen, I say the crime that pays is the crime that stays.
That's true. That's true.
Right? The crime that pays is the crime that stays. That's why we can't get rid of the homeless. That's why we can't fix the fire trucks. We can't take care of the infrastructure. We can't take care of the roads.
That's what I was amazed about. Was it about half of the LA County fire trucks were in repair during prior to the fires? I mean, the number was just big.
Okay, well let's just say, did you wait for a certain threshold? Say we have 100 trucks out there and 60 of them are in for maintenance.
Right.
As we got to 30, wouldn't someone say something?
Well, so you think someone would probably tell it, for goodness sakes.
Yeah. Hey, Walt, I just want to let you know we got 30 trucks in service right now. That means we only got 70 on the road. Our cover, we're spread thin. If something goes wrong, we're robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? So, just to let you know, should we order some new trucks? Should we, reinstate some old trucks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just in case, just to have it in the queue. Let's certify them to be used, that they can carry the water, they can deploy at any given time. Can we do something like that as a proactive measure?
I mean, isn't that what our taxes are supposed to be for?
Yeah, I mean, because let's say if we are fire professionals, we already know how the dominoes fall when we're thin, right? We already know. Hey, there's a third of the trucks are in service. Danger. You don't wait till we get 80 trucks in service and got 20 on the road to say, oh, I think we got a problem. Wait a minute, man. Were you trying to book overtime? You trying to book some overtime on this? Well, how long have you been on the job? 30 years? You are the job, right? Should we dispatch some Six Sigma black belts to do some workflow analysis, to pull that expertise out of your head, spread it into the workflow, and make sure everybody knows what you know in order to cover our ass? Because remember, we're accountable. I didn't see anybody get fired. The fire chief lady got fired. There should have been a whole bunch of other people fired.
They had to have a fall person. Yeah, I mean, right. You're right. There has been very little accountability. So that's really.
I mean, you can only do so much. Okay, let's say you're union. Well, there's got to be they put away bad cops, union, not union, right? So my thing is that if the pressure's applied, people will crack. People will crack and say, hey, you know what? That's Baltazar's fault. Well, just to let you know, if you need me on record to tell you that, I'll be more than happy to say it, because I had told him I've got the emails and I've got it's Baltazar's fault. I'm sure they would have. Yeah, don't fire me. Hey, fire him. Because I'm looking at the exit, boss. Right? I got 30 years in. Or Baltazar's only got 18. We could kill two birds with one stone by getting him out of here. We don't have to pay his pension. Right? And it's his fault. Right? So, I mean, if you wanted to do it, you could do it. But do you want to do it? I mean, they have the political capital. But we can get this done. You put Baltazar in there, we'll get it done. I'll spend all day doing this because, I want accountability. I don't want,
well, accountability and results.
And results, right? Yeah. Identify the problem, resolve the problem, make sure it doesn't happen again, and regulate it. What did I used to say when I was when I was lobbying, we were going to shame, litigate, regulate, shame, litigate, legislate, and regulate.
Okay.
So those are the things that I would say to get, to start lobbying for something. We're going to shame it. We're going to litigate it, legislate it, and then we're going to regulate it. It shouldn't be the same thing with this. Yeah, there's nothing new under the sun.
One would hope. Yeah.
Right. I mean, again, unless unless you're the 1099 who gets paid on the problem being here. Because if I have the answer, I'm only going to give you half the answer.
They're not looking for the solution. They're just getting paid.
Yeah, looking to get paid. Because why? They're pacing the job. They're pushing the jobs out. Right? Hey, come on, Walt. Hey, man, we're short time. We're 18 months from retirement. Rethink that, stud. Right? Rethink that. Let's just stretch it out. We'll get them in month 9 before you retire. By the time they figure it out, you'll be gone, and this problem will be resolved 24 months from now. Right? Yeah, I think there's a lot of that going on. Not looking for the health and welfare of the citizenry. Right? I mean, everyone's going to get paid. Why not just do your job right the first time? Rework is not work. It's wasting time on the citizen on the taxpayer's clock.
And resources, yes.
Right? So what are we doing? Let's identify it, fix it, because there'll always be another problem. If there's some fear of somebody running out of problems, there's always going to be another problem. Right? I mean, if we don't have it, I'm sure somebody will be quick to invent one.
I'm sure they would. So we've been going almost an hour, and I wanted to close with 2 things. One, you were nominated in 2017 for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes.
And I think that's awesome. I mean, what prompted the nomination?
Well, what happened was there were a lot of this one veteran, and I said, hey, you know what, you're doing bad. Let me help you out. Let me help you navigate Purple Heart. Let me help you navigate the VA, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of my employees, and I got him to across the finish line where he ended up getting his Service Connect. A lot of my employees in biodiesel were just as involved. They've all been to prison. Right. But I gave them a purpose. I said, if I would have meetings saying everybody gets a bonus every Monday, provided that the equipment's not, the truck's not impounded, the equipment's not damaged or lost. I don't get calls in the middle of the night, which is why problems happen, just so you know, from 11 to 4 in the morning.
Really?
11 to 2. That's why I wake up at 2, because when I'm on my 2, I can, Walt's going to call because he's getting out of the bar. He says, I'm too drunk to come home. Come pick me up. Oh, it's 3:30 in the morning. Oh, is it really? So that was the precursor why I wake up at 2 a.m. because I know the problem calls come from 2 to 6. That's where I can push from San Pedro to Bakersfield in 2 hours, San Pedro to San Diego in about an hour and 20 minutes.
An hour and a half plus, yeah.
San Pedro to San Jose, I can make it in 6.5 hours.
That's doable.
That's doable. From San Pedro to Bakersfield, I can make it in 2.
That's quick. Okay.
Right? That's quick. Right up. All I have to do is get out of LA, provided there's nothing going on the grapevine. Boom.
You just get over the vine.
Right?
Yep.
We get over the vine. Once I'm in that flatland, take the 99 straight up.
Yep,
boom, I'm gone.
Yep.
I'm gone. So, and what had happened was I got all these guys, once they cash flowed on oil, they said, hey, being a night owl is really not me, especially, traveling these long distances. Because we used to cover no less than 8,000 miles a week on trucks, on the diesel trucks. No kidding. I mean, Vegas, San Jose, Phoenix, St. George, Utah, Dago, San Jose, Chino, to the backwoods of Agora. No. It's called Arroyo Grande.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, that's inland. Yep.
Now, keep in mind, in 2010, this is when the Garmins were still on the dashboard.
Yeah, Garmin's right? Actually, I still use a Garmin. They're great. Because you can't hold your phone in California, so I got a Garmin.
Yeah, so what ended up happening was we would go to Arroyo Grande, Delano, McIntyre, Buttonwillow, Lost Hills, and the
Yes,
garment wouldn't work anymore.
on the fine.
It would because I don't know
Why?
why. I don't know because we'd go on the back end of
Why?
Gonzales. So you have Santa Maria, you have Lompoc, right? And there's a
Yeah.
little city called Gonzales. So Gonzales is like a one horse town. It's a company town. You have them cutting wood, then you have a literal general store, and then you have a bunch of motorhomes. So the employees go from motorhome to company store back. They just make that triangle, right? And the only new blood coming through there are the truckers.
Right.
So the garment stopped working. And I would tell my employee, I said, you know what, man, we're totally lost because these big trees look like Blair Witch Project up in that place. Right. And I said, just go toward the lights. Follow the road to the lights.
Go to the light.
Yeah, go to the lights. That's where safety is.
That's
Safety
the west.
is there.
If the sun is right. The sun is setting. You gotta go. The sun is setting. It's in the west. Okay.
Yeah. But we would just say, go to the light. Go to the light. Right? Where people are. There's got to be humanity. Because if you go down the 15, going to Avocado Highway, right? You get lost. You go toward the light. Right? Go toward the light. Somebody's going to be there because you're not the only guy having problems and wants to get toward the light. Right? So, I mean, it's a fun run, but I think that it's time to get things done. Yeah,
well,
let's get things done.
Too. And obviously that's why you're running for Congress. So if you could just in, a couple sentences or words, whatever, what's your goal and incentive? I mean, this is your third go around.
Yeah.
Why are you running for Congress, and what are your goals to accomplish with all the roadblocks that are there when you win?
Well, number one, I'm running for the constituents. I want to see improvement. I've been in that district so long.
And now, which district is it?
This is the 37th, which is Westchester, Culver City, South Central, and Inglewood.
Okay.
That little food stamp right there. It goes from Wilshire to El Segundo, Lincoln Boulevard to Alameda. So we've got that box right there.
Okay.
And I run because everything's mismanaged. Maybe I'm a little stickler for order, but I like order. And it's
your MBA is coming through.
Yes.
And your military experience.
Yes. And what bothers me is having traveled to these countries, you have the very rich and the very poor. And that's what I see in my district. You have USC Loyola, totally unaware of what's going on, right? You have LA Football Club, you have the Coliseum, you have SoFi, YouTube Stadium, right?
Yep.
These are totally different worlds who come in, visit these places than the natives that live in these places, right? So that bothers me. I don't like the way the homeless are being mistreated because I think that's a crime against humanity. These guys are just walking around. They're dual diagnosis patients. They need help. They're being ignored, but people are going out there.
They are. And way back in the day, I'm old enough and you are, we used to have very, very large mental health entities.
That's correct. Yes. Harvard, UCLA.
I mean, there was one down in Costa Mesa, there's one in Patton, there's one in Diamond Bar, and there were big ones.
Cerritos College,
all empty.
All empty. And the worst thing is that a homeless person identifies he's going over the edge. He can self-report to the hospital, stay there 3 days, shower, eat, get rested, and then tell the person, hey, okay, I'm ready. Walt, I'm ready to go. Remember, it was like the one who flew over the cuckoo's nest, right? The guy said to Jack Nicholson, what do you mean you can leave? Oh, yeah, I can leave whenever I want. Then why are you here? Why? I got tired. It was getting cold out there. What?
Why not?
Right? Why not? I mean, I just make the rounds, right?
This is my home. This is my buddies. This is my hub.
This is where I hang out and I get free food. It's better than this old man's boys club, right? So it's just that having been in this political arena, I know there's a lot to be done. I'm not trying to be the one-man gang. I'm not trying to be the savior. All I'm saying is if it's in my purview, it's going to be corrected, right? If it's part of my mission statement, it's going to be corrected. And whoever my person successor is, that's his problem. But under my watch, Walt, you're going to be held to account. Whatever you need done, and with this in my purview, I'll make sure it happens. Because at the end of the day, I'm a public servant. This is public service, not self-service. Last I checked.
One would hope.
Yeah, one would hope. But based on what we've seen, it's me before we. Right? And that's fine. But
alphabetical, that works.
Yeah, but that's fine. But having seen what went on in those fires, if I was in charge, absolutely not. I would have full accountability. Hey, this is what we got. This is where we get paid the big bucks, right? Right. This is where the bullshit ends. Your best effort will not work here. And you cannot say it from the cubicle.
We tried.
Yeah, that doesn't work for me, and that doesn't work for those that I still feed in Altadena. That doesn't work for them sitting, the guy, Carlo, who's sitting underneath a tarp on his own property that's 2 by 3 acres. That doesn't work for him, right? It doesn't work for them, the guy who's sitting in Winnebago who's getting parking tickets sitting on his own property. From the city of Pasadena. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
What planet are these people on? Good.
No idea. But what I'm saying is that it is that type of attitude that, what's it going to take for you to understand that I'm in pain? What's it going to take to make me whole? You keep giving me these possible solutions, but give me a tangible. Because Powwow and Parade, Baltazar and Peter are putting food in my stomach, putting clothes on my back, ensuring I get electricity, make sure I get site services, put me in a position to at least feel normal, not having to make choices. Right? Should this money go in my belly, or should it go in my gas tank? With Powwow and Parade or Baltazar, I don't have to make those choices. Those choices are diminished. Then I can focus on my core competency, which is wrestling with the insurance company, making sure they don't forgive me. They don't leave me for dead out here. And I don't spend all my money on frivolous things, just try to compensate for what I don't have. So when it's time to have it, I don't have enough. Right? I'm back in Chino. I'm in Norco now. Further and further away from where I started. I'm in Idlewild now.
Out in Chino, that's true.
I'm in Silver Lake now. Right? And you and I sitting on a bus stop over in Hesperia saying, I used to live in Altadena before the fires.
Yeah.
And my house here's a picture of my house on my Obama phone because I couldn't afford an AT&T one. If you look closely, it's a very large piece of property. I was there one time, Walt. I'm not just some dummy you look at now. I was somebody, right? So, we just want to make it, let them get what they got coming. That's all. Right? They didn't start the fire themselves. It wasn't mismanaged on there. They didn't fall asleep drunk over the stove, set themselves on fire, and end up burning down the house. No. This was all not being prepared, mismanaged, overlooked, and abdication of responsibility. Right?
You don't have to comment, but I still think some of it was intentional.
Well, whether it's intentional or not, it still happened.
Yeah,
because inefficient
over here, and we're still dealing with it as if it happened yesterday.
Yeah. Well, I always said inefficient cooperation ultimately becomes collusion in some way, shape, or form.
You're right. It's true.
Right. So I always tell people, tell me where I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know. Maybe all that secondhand marijuana smoke I smell is affecting my brain. But I've yet to have anybody tell me different. Right? I've yet to have anybody, and I've been down there every day for 13, 14 months now.
Well over a year. Yeah.
Yeah. Walt still, one guy, I remember there was a celebrity, he gave a mini coupe to a fire victim. And I just thought, yes, I'm thankful for the mini coupe, but I can't live in a mini coupe.
No, it's a little intimate.
Yeah, it's a little small compared to I had a 5 bedroom house, 3 bathroom.
True story.
A little bigger piece of property, right? and now you give me this. And, I was thinking, who pays the registration? How'd you get it? Is it used? Is it leased? All these other questions came into my mind because, I was shocked, literally, how many people wanted to jump in front of the camera and disappear. But I
Really?
was, oh, I was ashamed for them.
Wow.
Because I said, and a lot of people say we were here from the beginning. Well, define beginning for me.
Yeah.
The
When
week of, the day of,
yeah.
first quarter,
Yeah. The week after.
week after, I always catch a lot of people saying that. And I'm not trying to put them on the spot, but why say it? Right? We're here to help Walt get him back on his feet.
It looks good.
Yeah, it makes me feel good saying it, right? Walt, I was here from the beginning. Well, my house burned down. I didn't see you. I've been over here at Fair Oaks Burger picking up free hamburgers in the rain. I didn't see you. What about those mudslides? I didn't see you there either. Okay. Can you tell me something about the mudslide? Can you tell me something about the Winnebago that got flooded out and collapsed, ended up in the middle of the street? Can you tell me about? Did you hear that happening? Well, then you weren't here from the beginning then, because there are a lot of errors. You can't take Walt, 2-story house, 5-bedroom house, 3-bath, and throw him in a Winnebago and expect him to, number one, drive it. Number two, what to do with it other than this is where I shower, this is where I lay my head. That's it, right? Because you're still in shell shock of everything you've lost, and that you went from, a mile wide property into a cell 2x4.
Yep.
Right. And you got to wait for gas. You have to wait for gas to be delivered because you don't even know how to drive this big Winnebago because you'll crash into everything. But luckily for Altadena, there's nothing to crash into.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Right. So I guess there's some positives and negatives to all that, but I just want to see people do better. I mean, this is the 21st century. Now, you and I grew up on the Jetsons. We shouldn't have these problems, right? We shouldn't,
still had to go to work.
Yes, because that was for him to have something to do, right? Because idle hands, the devil workshop. And whoever thought this plan up had way too much time on their hands. Way too much time, right? And he had the money and the actuaries in the background and say, let me give you a scenario. Talk to me. Right? So it just, I just hate looking at people knowing that something could be done and there's nothing I can do. I mean, I've exhausted, powwow, Peter and I, we've exhausted all administrative remedies. We've done this all on our own dime, right? We know what he's a contractor. I'm a project manager. I was a supply corps officer. I know how to get things done. And I like doing it right the first time because rework is not work.
Well, do-overs are do-overs.
Yeah, do-overs do it. And, all do-overs would stop if you had to do it on your own time. Well, okay, you got to do a do-over, Walt. Great, clock out. Clock back in when you get it right. Woo! Guess what? There are no do-overs on my time. Not on my shift. Not on my shift, right? So, and again, I always saw this whole event as not on my watch. Now, if I see it, I'm going to correct it. Right, as best I can with what I have at the time I have it.
There you go. Fair enough.
That's it.
And on that, I think that about covers it. So,
all right. Thank you very much.
Entertaining, educational conversation. I appreciate your wit and wisdom, your time. And yes. You have been listening to On Air with Walt. The sponsor of the show is Retirement Fortress. If you are approaching retirement or in retirement and you're worried about running out of money, you can reach them at retirementfortress.net or at 888-999-9258. And while you're watching it, please like, share, and subscribe the show On Air with Walt. And we can find us on YouTube and, of course, the website onairwithwalt.com. So with that, we'll catch you around.
All right. Take care.
You as well.
All right, bye-bye.
God bless.